friends. This is Jay. Yes, I'm back. This, of course, is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. And I am so glad you stopped by. I'm telling you, I don't know. Have you ever just started out, you got up, your day was going great, and you had an idea of how you wanted things to go, and then you go off on a different road, and then before you know it, it's just like everything is just, oh man, what have I done? Well, that's what happened to me. I got up with an idea of I kind of use that little calendar, that you see in the intro as my inspiration. And the picture for March is this beautiful flower and, of course, a beautiful butterfly. And I thought, man, that just looks so pretty in nature and wild. Then I kind of forgot about it. I thought, okay, I better start looking through my yarn to see what I can do to match this calendar. What ideas can I come up with for my crochet? And lo and behold, do you know, every time I reach into a bag, I kept pulling up. Who knows why I would buy some variegated yarn. I don't do Afghans anymore. I used to years and years ago. But I haven't done an Afghan in a good while. But I would be at Hobby Lobby, and I'm one of those people. If I get in my get in my car, drive all the way over there, walk around the store for 45 minutes, I have one coupon, that one dumb coupon, I'm gonna buy something. And if I couldn't think of anything else, I would just pick out a skein of yarn, because I knew that if I didn't use it, I take it to one of the local churches, and they do, of course, charity knitting. And they knit up hats and afghans and lapkins and things for people, in need. So I knew it wouldn't go to waste, and, I wasn't going to let that coupon stand in my way or ruin my day. So I noticed that I had a lot of this Hobby Lobby variegated yarn. Just real pretty, and usually, like I say, when I buy yarn, even though I don't have an idea maybe what I'm going to make at that moment, but I always get at least 3 skeins. And if it's some of my favorite yarns, like Karen Simply Soft or Red Heart Soft or Vanna, especially Vanna, then I'd get 4 skeins, because I really can't make anything unless I have at least 3 or 4 skeins, because I make large projects. And I would get, a couple of these skeins of variegated yarn, or 3 perhaps. And then I'd just bring them home and put them in a bag, and I'd forget about them. Like I said, I don't make Afghans, and I don't do a lot of charity knitting myself, because I really don't have time anymore. And now that I'm working on tutorials, it takes so much time. So I prefer to give it to the people who have, in large groups, and they can turn out more projects than I could just by myself. So looking at my calendar, I thought, so pretty, nature and wild. And guess what I came up with? It just started clicking. I get some of my best ideas when I go to bed. I just lay there on my back, twiddling my thumbs, and a lot of times it comes to me. And then, of course, I go to sleep, and then the next morning I get up to see if it's going to work. Well, I got up after I, thought about the yarn, and I thought about something. This yarn reminds me of Wildflowers. That's what I want. That was the idea that I got when I went to bed. Look at it. Just go with me now. If you were riding down the highway or down the road, and you saw fields of just different color flowers, wildflowers, that's what it reminded me of. So I got busy, and I took one of couple of the skeins, and hence Jay's. This is Where the Wildflower Grows lace vest. Now, isn't that pretty? Now you look at it now, once it's crocheted up. Does that not look like a field of wildflowers? Just all the different colors, just all mixed in together. Just when you look out over a field of just flowers, just all in there together. That's a hopeful thing, isn't it? And it's pleasing to the eye. And I thought, well, why not? So, this is my vest. As you can see, it's kind of a short sleeve, very nice for the spring, where the wildflowers grow. I've taken our regular, and I know a lot of you have it, especially if you do Afghans. I know that you have variegated yarn too. And so all you need to do is reach into your stash. You're going to need at least 3 skeins. I would have at least 3 skeins on hand. It may not take that much. Now, if you're a larger size, you may use all the, you might have to use all the 3 skeins. And especially if you had your yarn a long time and maybe it's probably discontinued or something, or you can't get any more, or it would be so, the dye lots would be so crazy, just wouldn't match. Well, you could also have 1 skein of a solid to match. You could maybe, if you had a skein like this, you could pick out one of the colors and find a solid to use for the back. It's crocheted in one piece, but it is separate enough that we're going to start in the back and then add the 2 front panels as we come over the front. And then we'll trim it out. You can also trim it out in the solid color. I didn't. I started to, and it just didn't look right for me. It just didn't look like my taste. I like clean lines and not too much. So variegated yarn is it's a little exciting for me. But you have of course you have lace, and of course that makes a pretty buttonhole. I've added nice buttons, so yes, you'll need some buttons. So you might want to find a couple of cards of buttons that will match your yarn. So if you don't have 3, at least 2 skeins of variegated yarn and 1 skein of solid, or 3 skeins of variegated yarn should work just fine in this project. Well, what do you think? Listen, we're stash busting, and we're going to use this yarn, and what you don't use you can always give away. Like I say, I'm getting ready to go through yarn and haul a bunch over to the church so that they can, as they start preparing, to do their charity knitting. I'm sure they knit probably or crochet all the way during the summer. Then that way when the fall comes, they're probably ahead of the game. And the need, I'm sure, is always great. And I also found a charity, I found one just by happenstance. It's for babies, and it's for babies that that die or have complications, and they just don't make it, and but they like nice light colors and soft, really pretty colors, not this variegated type stuff. So I have yarn that I'm going through to see what I can find for them. Very light pastels. I guess they make bereavement gowns or little things. I don't know. But anyway, I had taken a couple of bags right before Christmas, I think it was, and they sent me the nicest message, and so it made me feel good. I'll just go through some of this yarn that I know that I'm not going to use, and I can't keep holding on to it, so because it's just weighing me down again. So I'll take maybe a couple of bags to them. But in the meanwhile, before I take this variegated yarn over to the church, I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to see what we can do with it. So as we get ready to go into the tutorial, Jay's Crochet, Where the Wildflowers Grow, lace vest out of this variegated yarn. I'll take you step by step and show you how easy. This is going to be a go-to vest. Because it's very easy, very simple. There's a lot. Look, there's so much on the YouTube. All I can do is just, if you try to think of something different. It's been done, people. It's been done. All I can do is just keep saying, okay, I'm using what we have. I'm using what you have. We're stash busting. Everything is available, and I try to keep the little patterns simple so that you'll want to do them, and then you can repeat them if you want to do them for someone else or to give them as a gift. But first, do it for yourself. And I really enjoy this. I didn't think I would. Like I say, variegated yarn. But so far, what do you think? I really like the way this one looks. But isn't that pretty? Just very easy to wear. Easy to wear. My little shell. Your necklace. Your earrings. And don't forget your sunglasses. Well, I should have brought my sunglasses out, shouldn't I? Well, okay, so without further ado, I can't think of anything else. Like I said, I didn't buy anything. Just picked out this variegated yarn, and I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to show you this simple 2-row crochet stitch. And I just made this up. I just took out just simple out of my head. It's not hard, anything. I didn't even try to do anything real fancy. I just wanted a very simple stitch, because with the variegated yarn you need to be able to break it up so that it won't pool. That's why, you know, that's the problem to me with variegated yarn. You never know where the color's going to pool. Well, there's enough lace, or there's enough opening in the lace to hopefully keep it from pooling, and I think I achieved that. So let's get ready, and let me take you step by step. And you too could have Where the Wildflowers Grow lace vests. Let's get started. Okay, so now let's take a look, an overview of the one I was wearing in the beginning of the tutorial. And as you can see, now that you're seeing a close-up of the colors, like I said, don't you? I thought it reminded me of wildflowers. So you have to use your own imagination. But here's our vest. Here's the pretty front. Here's some buttons. You'll need some buttons to go on, because the little edging will, you know, double crochet will just form automatic buttonholes. And we start in the back. I'm going to flip this around. Now this is large, so it's hard to get all this in the shot, but you know, I like for you to know how we're going to start this. And let's see, can I back out just a little more maybe? Okay, so now we're going to start here at the bottom in the back, and we're going to work all the way up until we reach the length you want. This was meant, this is just my idea now. Whatever my normal back length, and I normally use just 20 inches. Okay, this is a little shorter, supposed to be shorter. So I would stop as I got close to 17, you know, a little over 17, 18 inches. I would stop and end the back there. And I'll show you that once I show you the one I'm working on. And then we will come over the front, and as you come down the front, you'd come down, but I find that in this style, I need about 2 extra rows or 2 extra repeat rows, because you have to come over your bust line. You need a little fullness to come over your bust line and then come down, and that may, adding 2 extra rows of the repeat, that gives you a nice ease in your bust. So, I don't know how good this looks on camera, if you can see. And of course, then all you have to do is sew up the side seams together, stop, make sure you have plenty of room, don't ever bind anything off, don't ever cut anything, or, you know, tie anything off under your arms until you do both arms, so you can get them, you know, pretty much in the same place, or at least so they look like they match. But you just sew up, and then we will add a nice border. We'll do a couple of 2 stitches to do the little edging. We're going to do the single extended crochet, and then we'll end it all off with the crab stitch to give it a nice front edge. That looks really nice and clean. So, I just want to give you an overview. So we're going to get started. I'll go over the yarn real quick, and like I say, we'll get started on Jay's Crochet, where the wildflowers grow, spring lace best. I thought I better throw in spring because spring has sprung. Back in a minute. Okay, real quick. This is just plain variegated yarn. I happen to have, like I said, from Hobby Lobby. I would pick it up anytime I had a coupon. I don't know what I thought I was gonna make. You know, I just didn't want to waste a coupon, so I'd buy something. And most of the time I would give it away to the church because they do charity knitting. But looking at it, I decided I'm going to use some. And that's just, I love this yarn by Hobby Lobby. And it's a 4-weight. So it's just plain worsted weight yarn. And you can give this a try on this inexpensive yarn. And like I said, then switch to a number 4, something of nicer or better quality later. And you know, after you get the design down. But this was, I don't know, this is called Gelato Stripe. So it was just, the color has pink. So I thought, well, that looks, you know, like wildflowers. There's green, like for the leaves. There's all different colors. The one that I was wearing, again, is some Hobby Lobby yarn. And it's the print. It doesn't really, it's not striped, but it doesn't, I don't guess it pulls quite like a real variegated yarn, I don't know. But this color is Sunset. And all of these, I had at least 3 skeins. And I'll show you what to do once we start if you don't have 3. But there's lots of yardage on it. Like I said, it's inexpensive, but it's great to just practice with. This is 252 yards, and like I said, it's medium weights, number 4. The one I'm going to work in real time, though, is this one. Found this at the bottom of the stash. I have no idea why I bought it. But we're going to use it. We're stash busting, and this is a print, and it is called City Beat. City Beat, and there's pretty yellows and oranges, some grays. No greens, though, but I didn't care. I just wanted to use up some of my variegated yarn just to see what I could do with it if I put my mind to it. So, and for all these yarns, we're going to use a U.S. eye hook. A U.S. eye hook. I tried it with a J. It's too loose, so I had to come down. So you need to come down. An H, I believe, would make it such a tight weave, tight fabric, you wouldn't get any drape. It wouldn't look as nice. It would be more like wearing a blanket. This does have a little movement in it. And as you can see, I'm going to bring out the one that I've worked up so far out of City Beat. Here it is. Let's make sure I have it on the right. Now let me check my camera, see if that's on. Okay. You can see the pretty colors. You know, once it's this one, City Beat. And I thought, well, that's pretty. It's great for practicing. And then later on, I can always find something else I like. Now, for instance, I wasn't sure if I had enough. And when I went back over there, I did not see this particular yarn again. So I don't know if it's gone or just out that day. So I had to look around just in case. I didn't want to start it and then, oh man, I can't finish it. I have at least 2 skeins, maybe part of another skein. But this is where you could go and find one of the colors. Say I could find a pretty gray and make this section. This is the back section. I could make this section in another color. Like I could use gray, or if you had a pretty little, I don't know, orangey color, whatever. Whatever you had that was close enough to these colors. Oh, here's a kind of a beigey. Now I know I have some pretty beigey color to keep it spring, because we've come out of the cold now. We're getting ready to. then you could do the back in a solid and then save the 2 skeins of variegated for the 2 front as we come over the shoulders and down the front. So that's another idea. And plus you're using up yarn that you wouldn't have used up. Especially if you do a lot of Afghans, you probably have a lot of this. So that's where we are. This is the one I'm working in real time. So first, next thing I want to do is show you the simple stitch. I'm moving right along because this is really a quick and easy, fun little project. And I just thought everybody has some yarn they need to get rid of. All right, back in a moment. All right, to get started, I don't count chains if I can get, around it. So I normally start with just a long chain. You make a chain longer than what you need to go from your left side of your, at the left side of your waist across the front to the right side. You just want a chain that long in length, and go ahead and add an extra 10 inches or so. Just add some extra inches so that once we start you don't run out, because we have to fit this all the way across and you want extra chain. You don't want to have to stop. So on my little sample here, like I said, I have so many books. I didn't feel like looking, people. I was just too tired to look. So I said, okay, I'm just going to do a simple stitch. When you don't know what to do, do what you know. So I always know how to put a border. So I'm going to skip, and in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3 in the 4th chain from the hook, using my eye hook, I do a double crochet. And then in the next chain, a double crochet, and the next one. And in total, I have 4 double crochets right there. Counting this in 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and once I do a border, I like that little eyelet row, so we would chain 1. And normally we would skip 1, but we're going to start the pattern right out of the gate. So instead of skipping 1, I'm going to skip 3 on the bottom. So 1, 2, 3. In the next chain, the 4th one, I will start my V-stitch. I was just sitting there and I was watching TV and I could not, I didn't want to waste time looking through another book. All right, now, double crochet in that chain. Now chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and double crochet again into that chain. Simple V-stitch. Everybody knows that. This is what we have so far. All right. The V-stitches will be the repeat. So now I will chain 1, skip 3 on the bottom again, 1, 2, 3. In the next chain, give me another V-stitch. Just really easy. Double crochet in the chain, and chain 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet again in the chain. Makes sense so far? I have 2 V-stitches. Now we're just going to work across. Chain 1, skip 3 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet, chain 1. Okay, now what I want you to do is to continue across, and we're going to fill up this chain so that we'll have something to actually measure against your own waist to see how many of these repeats you will need to fit. So chain 1, after the chain 1 up here, you're going to skip 3 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and in the next stitch, let's see, 1, 2, 3, in the next chain, you're going to add the V-stitch. That's a double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet. And I'll see you at the end of your long, don't forget, and then chain 1 to finish it. And I will see you as I get near, or you get near, the end of your long chain. Alright, so as you work across your long chain, and you get the repeats, are these V-stitches, you want to take the V-stitch, our sample here, and you want to go from one side of your waist across the front, and you want to give it a nice stretch across to the other side. And then you'll stop and count. Of course, your chain is much longer. You're going to stop and count and see how many of these repeats that you can stretch across from one side across the front to the opposite side. Just stop and count. So for instance, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You really want it to be an odd number. You want it to be 9 or 11 or something, or 15 or something like that, after you've stretched it and measured it across, okay? Now, that takes the stretch out of the yarn. So now we know what a good fit you'll have, and you've already taken, the stretch. You understand that yarn stretches. But in order for us to come over the shoulders and down the front, we're going to need to add a couple of more of these repeats. So I may have 9 because I want an odd number to take the stretch out. Then I will automatically do 2 more repeats, which I will use later when we get ready to come over the shoulders. The 2 extra repeats will be, it will give me the stitches I need for the front edge coming down the front, each front of the sweater, of this vest. Does that make sense? So, for instance, on this one, instead of 9, I do 2 more, and that's going to give me 11 repeats. On my original vest, for me, I stretched it, and I could maybe settle for 15. That means it was really snug and tight. 15 repeats. And then by the time I added the 2 extra repeats, it became 17 in total of these V-stitches. Now, at the end, I'm going to move my pillow body. So now you've got the number of repeats with the 2 extra ones. And to end this first row and to put the border on the last V-stitch, let's see if I moved my camera from my pillow, didn't I? So I need to move it back. Hold on. Oops. There we go. All right. So when I get to the last V-stitch, I've stretched and counted. I have an odd number. I chain 1. I skip 3 on the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And then I have to repeat this edge to match the opposite edge. And I have 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just 4 double crochets so that each end, each side matches. This gives me a border and a place to sew up, the front side and the back side. Be my side seam. So now, to end everything, I simply chain 3. 1, 2, 3, turn the work. Now, I know I'm all tangled up here today. As soon as you turn, you're just going to stack these double crochets, of course, right on top of each other, like you would normally do. Like I said, I try to make this as simple as possible, people. I just wanted something really pretty and light. Like if you wear jeans, I don't wear jeans anymore, but if you wear some cute jeans, or you got your regular little knockabout pants that you're going to run somewhere, and you just need something really quick. I'm telling you, this is going to be a go-to. It is just that easy and just that quick. Okay, so I've stacked the 4 double crochets on top of each other, just like that. Now, to get back into the pattern, this is the wrong side. This was the right side. When we turn the work, now I'm on the wrong side. It's only 2 rows. And the wrong side is, of course, you have to chain 1 here at the top. Now, I'm going to fill in this V-stitch space, 4 double crochets. That's it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull me a little yarn. Now chain 1, and I go to the next V-stitch right there. See it? And I put 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. Don't forget the chain 1 at the end. Just stretch it out. So now this is row 2. This is a row where you'll just fill in the V-stitches with 4 double crochets and then a chain 1. So let's get across. I don't know if I have enough little scrap yarn on here to do this, but we'll see. So I'm just doing double crochets, American double crochets. Chain 1. Just filling in. And I believe it would, I just thought this would give it any type of variegated yarn enough breathing room or enough lace, enough opening in the lace that it wouldn't pool and give you big ugly color splotches. And mine just worked out great. Like I said, it's a go-to. I'm going to wear this vest everywhere. Just throw it on with my little, either my sweatpants or I wear capri pants or, you know, something like that. Chain 1, 4 double crochets to go, you know. It's my little regular places. You know, I don't have a lot of places to go anymore. I don't do a lot. Too much. Chain 1. I hope I'm on camera. Double crochets. Man, we had a storm last night and tornado warnings. We got mainly rain and the lightning. We didn't get hail per se, but all around us, a lot of places did. As much as 2-inch hail was falling. And lots of rain and heavy winds. A lot of trees were knocked down. I think they were up, I think the last thing they were saying was about 30,000 south of Atlanta. They got the brunt of they actually got some straight line wind damage. Oh. Chain 1, 4 double crochets, chain 1, then right here in the next. Because I need to show you how once we turn, go back to the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. So I'm just going to take a few minutes and do this. I'm almost to the end. Then I don't have to stop the camera. Okay, so I have 4 double crochets, chain 1. I'm up almost. Nope, I have one more V-stitch before I get to my border. So 4 double crochets. And chain 1. Okay, that's where we are so far. Double crochets, 4 double crochets in those V-stitches. And when I get to the opposite border, like I said, I've just chain 1, then I go over and I double crochet on top of those 4 double crochets. Let me do that and then we'll turn. So 1 double crochet there, and then 2, 3, and then 1 into the turning, into the post, so that makes 4. There it is right there. Now, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn the work. Now we are back to the right side, and we simply need to stack the double crochets on top of each other. I have 4 on this end, so I need 1, 2. With the turning chain, that makes 4. There it is right there. Chain 1. Now, this is where you'll do the V-stitch again, but this is how you're going to do it. There are 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 2 right at the top is where you're going to put the V-stitch. So you'll put a double crochet in that chain right at the top. See, there's the first double crochet, so it's the second one. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now go into the double crochet right there and right next to it. So I'll double crochet there, chain 1. Let me hold it out again so you can see it. My hand was in the way. Double crochet, you're going to use the 2 stitches at the top. Double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. And then chain 1 so that we can move over to the next one. Let's go again. There are 4 double crochets, so I'm going to use the 2 at the top. Double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and go over, and in the next one next to it, double crochet, then chain 1, and then your V-stitch is back. Easy peasy. And I didn't have to look through 100, I don't know how many, 300 or 400 patterns trying to find something easy. I just said, I'll make it at 1, 2, 3. And I just picked it up, and this is what came to mind, and I said, that's it. Chain 1. Okay. Double crochet in the 2 at the top. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then double crochet in the one right next to it. Oops. Chain 1. Does that make sense? Can you see that? All right. Well, you have a long row. Continue. And now you're just going to keep repeating these 2 rows. Go all the way to the end, chain 3, turn, and then you will be ready to fill in these V-stitches with the 4 double crochets as you come back on the wrong side. All right, I've worked one ahead, and you're going to work. Remember, this is the back piece, so you want to work this, but I was not like I said, to me it just looked better not to have it as long as maybe some of my other sweaters. So I stopped right as I got around 17 or close to 18. My back length is normally 20, and you want to stop a couple of inches shy of what you would normally use. So when we come back, you will have a nice piece of fabric just like this. See if I'm on. Okay, let me turn on this side. Remember, you will have a nice piece of fabric. Let me see if that's, I need the back. Okay, that's good. You will have a nice piece of fabric ready for us to get ready to separate the left and right fronts and the neck and start over the shoulders doing this same stitch. What do you think of that? Easy peasy. All right, so now we're hopefully on the same page. You have worked your back section up to a couple of inches short of what your regular back measurement in inches would be. I normally use 20 inches for my back, and I stopped a little shy of, right before 17, or a little over 17, but before I got to 18. So that left me 2 good inches. Just to make this a little shorter, because it just seemed like it looked much nicer when I put it on, that it was shorter. All right, so let me tell you this that I forgot to say. All right, so you're working all the rows, and row number 2 is the row where you put in the 4 double crochets into the V-stitch. This is the row you want to stop on. You want to stop on row 2 where you've done all the 4 double crochets, chain 1, 4 double crochets, chain 1. You get to the end, 4 double crochets, chain 1, and then you end it with the 4 double crochet border, and then pull your thread, pull your thread through the loop. That ends the back section. So we're all together. So now we have a nice piece of fabric, and this is the wrong side. And if you haven't marked it long way back when, it's, for new crocheters especially, or people that have problems telling which is the front and which is the back, this is the wrong side, row 2, the double crochets. All right, so now this is how we're ready to start the front, and this is how I do mine. And if you've crocheted with me, you've done this before. I take the work, it's on the wrong side, That's fine. And I rotate the work. Now the top becomes the bottom, and the bottom becomes the top. Just like this. So I just rotate the work. Now the edge that was at the bottom is now at the top. And you can tell this was a row that I actually did the chains, because I still have chains that I never did use that we would take a loose at the very end of the project. But you can see those extra chains, I didn't need them. But they can just hang out there for right now. Oh, and when I recounted mine, I made a mistake when I said on my size, so you know what size I was doing, you know, like large. I had 19 repeats. Well, 17 was the repeat number of repeats I needed to make it really tight from my left to my right side. Then you add the 2 extra repeats, remember, so that when we get ready to come over the shoulders, which we're going to do now, those 2 extra repeats, I simply start on the edge and on each edge and count in. And you want to leave at least 3 repeats in the center. So I'm counting in. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold your hand right there on 8. There's 8. And then I count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, your number could be different. You're going to count in, and I put the marker went on the other side. So I go ahead and I mark these 2 repeats right here, because these 2 repeats will become the front edge border as we go across the front. That's why we added the extra 2. See, the border's already there. I'll know exactly where it is. So now let me show you how this is going to work. Let me just say this also. If you're one of the X sizes, and you're going to have a lot more repeats maybe, all right, you could leave 5 repeats in the center. You could have, instead of 1, 2, 3, you could have 5, and then your 2 markers. Does that make sense? Depending on how many of these repeats, if you're up into, like if you had 25 repeats, you might take 5, count over, and leave 5 in the center for the neck. But mainly for small, all the way up to large, or even a little bit over, I have 3 repeats that I've left for the neck. Can you see that? Okay, so I have my mark. Now, let's get ready to connect. Let's get ready to work our pattern. I'm going to make sure I'm on camera, that I got the right edge in the right place. Because I'm looking, you know, you look, okay, I think that's good. All right, there we go. All right, now, I take my yarn, and I take my eye crochet hook, and I come up to this edge. We are on the wrong side of the fabric, so that I can start with row 2. Row 1 is this V-stitch. So I want to start with row 2, so that I can just stay right in pattern. All right, if I was, you know. So I take my hook and I put it into this first double crochet or turning chain right here on the edge. I take my yarn, however you connect. Tie a knot, tie a loop, tie whatever, however you connect your yarn. I just slip it over my hook. Then I pull both strands through and tighten it down. I drop the working. And then I chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm connected. Now, I go right back into pattern. Here on the edge, I have 4 double crochets, so I'm going to stack these double crochets right on top of those 4 right there. Just like that. Can you see it? All right. Now, by the pattern, the next thing is to chain 1, and then, all right, look at the column of the double crochets. That's where you're gonna, so I would, not in this large space here, but in this little small space, we have to put our 4 double crochets so that we're in the right place on the work. So I'm simply going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. get some yarn, 4 double crochets, chain 1. Now we're back in the pattern, but we're stacking these double crochets in line with the ones that we've already made. Chain 1, I forgot that. Now skip over to right above that column of double crochets in this little small hole at first. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. Look for the next column. And that little place above, right there, right above the column. And we're going to put 4 double crochets. Oops. Let's go again. We're going to put 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. So that's what you have as the first row of the front of this vest. I look for the next column right here. And I go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. I'm not up to my mark yet. I'm working towards the mark. There it is right up there. Alright, I go to the next column right here. So let's put 4 here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. Go to the next one. Not there yet. Gotta keep going. There's one there. There's a column right there. So I go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. Let me get me some yarn. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 4 for that column. Chain 1. Now I'm up to the actual stitch, or the actual 4 that I'm going to use for a border. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So now there's my border. And I stop right here and simply chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Because we're going to work one side and then come back later to do the other side. After we work a little bit, I'll show you how we connect on that side. So now, I turn the work, and now I stack 4 double crochets on top of these 4 double crochets, just like our other border. There we go. See, there it is. And this looks a little strange right here, but once we put our little edging on there, all that will be taken care of. This is just to get it connected and, oops, I'm all tangled up. And to get back into pattern. And that's the thing you want to do. You want to be able to get back into the same pattern, repeat, that we've been working the whole vest in. So after you do 4 double crochets, what do? Chain 1. Now this becomes the V-stitch row, because now we're on the front side of the fabric, and so you're simply going to go into the 2 top double crochets. So you'll double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then in the next chain a double crochet right there. You'll put a double crochet and chain 1. Move to the next one. double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet into the next chain, right, the double crochet space right there. Chain 1. Let's move on. Double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another double crochet in the next chain. Chain 1. Continue across. 1, 2, 3, another double crochet, chain 1, continue across, and you will continue across working this row with the V-stitches. You get to the end, into the post, double crochet, chain 3, turn, and then you will be filling the V-stitches with 4 double crochets. And every time you come to this end, it's a border, so you just stack the 4 double crochets, chain 3, turn, and work back. So now we start to work back and forth on this side. And let's work a little bit to make sure that I didn't leave anything off. Then I'll come back on and show you how to connect this side. Alright, see you back shortly. Alright, I've worked down one whole front. I believe if I had the vest on, this is the left side. So I've worked down the whole front, and I've gone ahead and even pinned the front and the back of this side together, just to kind of give me an idea of, you know, how it's going to look. So now we're going to join for the other side, and that's where, you know, I want to show you how to find the place and then start. But before that, I thought after I finished this side, I saw that I needed to add another row or two. So I'm going to go over my numbers one more time, because you all always ask me, Jay, now what are your numbers? Okay, I guess that's comforting. I don't know. Well, what's her numbers? Okay, so let me count again, just to let you know what I did. All right, so counting the rows that have the 4 double crochets, that's what I'm counting to see, because that's the row we want to stop on. That's the row we want to end on a wrong side row with the 4 double crochets. So starting here at the top, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I had 15, but once I did this front edge, I decided and tried it on. I put pins in there and tried it on. I decided I need to go one more of these 4 double crochet rows. So 15, 16 for my back. I did 16 of these 4 double crochet rows, 16 for my back. So when I got to the front, because we need a little bust ease, you know, because this is, like I said, a very simple sweater. There's no increases and decreases. You just simply crochet. All right, now watch. I'm going to start here at the top, and I'm going to count just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and I did one extra. I'm way down here. I probably wasn't even on camera. 15, 16, and then I discovered for that, just to have some bust ease, I did 17. I did 17, counting the rows of 4 double crochets, those rows. And of course I want to end on that double crochet, those 4 double crochet rows. Does that make sense? So now you have an idea of the numbers that I use. Of course, you're going to be pinning yours, trying it on. And as you can see, it's a good idea to just pin it in place, and then, because we need definitely need to try it on before we start trying to change anything. So now I want to go back up to the top, and I'll change my camera. I want to go back up to the top. We are still on the wrong side. Here's my mark. We are still on the wrong side, because when we stopped, we were going across, remember? So naturally, we want to pick up in the same place on this side. I left 3 repeats for my neck, plus the extra one on this side where I attacked, worked and stopped and started a new border. Now I go to this mark on this side of of the work. Now I'm going to pull in. Let's see, can I pull in and bring this down? Let's see, can I bring it down so we can see what I'm doing? Where am I? Okay. Alright, I think you can be able to see that now. Okay. So now I have my eye crochet hook. I have the mark in the same place that I had it over here. And now we simply just connect. We're on the wrong side, so the wrong side was the 4 double crochet. That was the side we put the 4 double crochets. Now, I thought about this, and you may, I don't know. All right, when I attach, I'm using this small space here. Let's see if it's showing up good. Can you see where I am? I'm using that smaller space. But then after I'd finished this side, then I thought, well, I could have used this, but I wasn't sure if it would pull this open real wide like this, and then you'd have to wind up trying to reinforce it. I didn't know. So that's just something you could decide on your own. Look, I'm not an expert. Look. Oh, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Okay. So I went ahead and just went right there up under the chain. Right there where and now I'm going to connect. However you connect. It doesn't matter to me. Just connect. I just bring them together. Then I drop my tail. Because that's what I do in knitting. Ooh, man, I touched my funny bone or something. Hit something on my elbow. Okay. Pull that tight. Now, chain 3. That's to get us, a post to get started. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, and 3. And then you can tighten up everything. All right, now in that same place, in the same chain, of course, we have to do the 3 more double crochets to make 4 all together. You have a post and 3 double crochets. So all together I have 4 double crochets that starts this border like we did on this side, now on this side. And now we get right back into pattern, and this is the row that we do. We chain 1, don't forget that. Now go to the next column, just like on this side, where there's double crochets, and we're going to put 4. Like I said, if you want to go into this larger space, I just thought it was going to make 2 larger holes, so I'm going into the smaller one. But look, I'm not the boss of you, so you can do whatever you like. Okay, 1, 2, that's 3 and 4, and chain 1, and guess what? We're back in business. I'm telling you, it doesn't take long, does it? As long as you keep it simple. Okay, over to the next column, right there. I just need those 4 double crochets. 2. Now, next time we do this, of course, we're going to find a new lace. Maybe we'll find one a lot harder. We won't do this simple one. We're just trying to help our new people to catch up a little bit, to kind of get in the mind frame that you don't always have to have a pattern, or you don't always have to just go along. Just, you don't know what to do, do what you know. Hey, you're as smart as I am. Hey, you just got to step out and just give it a try. Here we go. Getting up to the end, and you can tell that you can see the extra chains I had left over out of my long chain. But I'd rather do that than have to start and stop and rechain, because I don't know how many chains I need, or if I might want to change the pattern. Oh, chain 1, don't forget that. How many? I don't know how many. I might change the design right in the middle. 1. Whoops, sorry. All right, so sorry about the phone. So we're going across. I'm continuing in the pattern. I'm on doing 4 double crochets, across, and then of course chain 1. Look for the next column right there. We're already almost to the end. 1, 2, here's 3, and there's 4. Chain 1, and then of course we want to stack 4 double crochets on this end border. Now, since I just made this up, this border could have been, you know, 3. It could have been. I just wanted something to hold on to really sew. I didn't want to have to try to sew all the, you know, all these lacy places, all these large holes. So that's one reason I put the border, and then it makes it look nice up under the arm as you come down up under the arm. Okay, now chain 1, 2, 3. Just like we've been working. And then of course, now, see if I'm still on. Yep. Now you go back into, this is the front side now. So there's 4 double crochets on top. I can't remember what I was talking about before the phone rang, but yeah, we'll use the same idea that that we're doing on this one, and we'll come up with a new lace, something more intricate, something out of the book. Okay, so I've did the 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. Now I'm on the V-stitch, so I double crochet into one of the top places, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet in the next chain and chain 1. And I'm going to work my way across, and of course down this side. And I've given you my numbers. I recounted because I found after trying it on, like I said, I thought maybe I need to go another row for me. But there you have it. So as we continue on, I will see you at the end as I work this front down to match the opposite front. Then we will sew at least one side together and start some of the trim. So, take care, have fun, and crochet on. Right, I came back real quick as I was working, and I had started crocheting down this right side of our vest. All of a sudden, my eye caught something. You know, because I spent years painting, so I'm used to my, I notice things. Now look at this. This is the side that I worked, finished, and like I said, I wasn't going to try to get into manipulating the yarn. I just wanted to come out to whatever it would be. But then this funny thing happened. I got a new skein of yarn, another skein. I didn't use this same yarn because there wasn't much left on this skein when I got done. I knew it wasn't going to be enough to do this side. So I started a new skein. I'm an outside puller. I pull from the outside. And right away I noticed, look, the pattern is kind of flipped. Here's the side that's finished, so I'm definitely not going to bother it. But here's this pretty coral and gray color, and then this lighter color. Now on this skein, which I pulled from the outside, has this light color, and then the coral color. Does that make sense? Look at it. You see? Now, this is variegated yarn, or whatever you call it, a print yarn, whatever, ombre, whatever. But my eye is going to fight looking at this sweater, at this vest, because of the visual effect. So this is what I realize now, and I'm glad I didn't go too far, and I'm glad I'm coming back on real quick just to help you and other people who will have this, who will notice it and have the same problem. Go, Jay, I wonder, I like it, but there's a few places. Without getting into chopping and dicing the yarn, let's go back. I'm going to pull this side out. I'm going to pull it out all the way. I won't do it on camera. Well, let's see how quick I can do it. I didn't mean, should have had it done. So that's quite a lot to pull out on camera. Okay, I'm going to pull this. I'm going to pull all of this out on this side. And when we connect, when we go back up and connect, oh man, I'm gonna have a mess over here. Okay, let me pull it out and I'll come right back on camera. All right. So I pulled out and I looked at my skein, and without getting too far into, like I said, dicing, I think this is one place, once you get to this point on your vest, you may have to crochet a few rows to see if you have the same, every yarn is different. Your yarn may not do this, but you saw the visual of how those two colors were flipped. So I pulled out some of that light color till I got to a color close to where I stopped. When we were crocheting, if we had not jumped over the neck, or if we had, if we had continued to go across, then that color most likely would have kept going across and faded just like it faded on this side. So this part I did cut out. I cut out some of that color to get to a color that's close to where I stopped. So now I'm going to this side. So this, like I said, was an executive decision. And I think I will have more. I will connect. So yes, I did do a few rows and I pulled it back. But it's better. If you see something, it's better to go ahead and fix it if you can now than to have to go around explaining to everybody every time you wear your vest. Well, I saw, it wasn't visually appealing to me. So I'm going to connect and then chain 1, 2, 3 with this, with the color going just like I never, never stopped crocheting from that other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my border. Now look at that. That's much more just already. And I didn't think of that when I connected. I didn't. Of course, you won't have an idea either to how your yarn is going to come out until after you do a few rows, and then you look at it and you will know immediately if no, something's wrong. And in trying to, I just wanted to go ahead and fix it. And I thought, well, I'm going to share, see if you don't agree with me. And we're putting in now, we're just acting like we didn't have to cut the yarn, like we came right on across, working our vest when I connected on this side. And there was no way for me to really tell that, but that's something now that I can put away in my mind when we do something else of light, of the light manner, to check when we jump over the neck, check to see what colors, to try to keep the color like it's flowing right on across. Now look, already, I hadn't even finished the first row, and look at the eye appeal of this. Much nicer. And my eye, I don't think my eyes would fight this, nor will I have to get on camera and go, well, this is what happened. That's my story. Well, that's not my story, because I'm fixing the problem that I noticed right away. Yes, I lost some rows of crocheting, but it's just crocheting, people. Oops, did I get it? Yeah, make sure I'm on the right place. Okay. So now I just want to see how, and it may not be exact because I don't know what it's going to come out, but it would definitely be better than what the alternative would have been. Is to go around trying to explain to everybody what's wrong with the front of my vest. Okay. So now I will work off camera again on this side, but now hopefully I have something a little closer and more appealing to my eye and to your eye by simply, I had to chop a little bit off to get back to as if this color carried right on across. And let's hope for better results. All right, I'll be back. I'm going to work some more. Okay, so take a look. I've finished the other side. Both sides are finished now, both fronts. Take a look and tell me what you think. Just making that difference. You know, it's variegated yarn. It's going to do what it wants to do, but just by me taking that eyesore out that we went over, now it's, you know, it's just pleasant to look at, and your eye doesn't seem to be drawn to one place. It's just moving all around, looking at all the pretty wildflowers. And that's what you want. All right, so I've weaved in a lot of my ends, trying to get everything ready. I have sewn up one side, but you never tie anything off until you have both arms, so that they, you know, you have them kind of in the same place, or they feel or look, you know, look like they kind of go together or something. But as you can see, I've sewn up my arm, and if it's too, you know, once I get the other one sewn up, and if it's too tight, I can just pull some of the yarn back. See, because I did not knot anything, and that's what you don't want to do. That you want to wait until you have both arm openings, and, you know, kind of hopefully they look alike. Okay, so now I've sewn up this side. I'm going to just be honest. I'm not that great at sewing crochet. I try to sew it or try to make my seams look as nice as my seams that I do in knitting, but I seem to fall short every time, so maybe someone can help or share on that, you know. But I even tried to match up the line, you know, and I kind of, you know, tried to match, you know, where the crochet falls, where the lines fall. Still, I don't know, it just doesn't look, I guess because it doesn't look as nice as my knitted seams. Make sure that you have the wrong side of your vest marked. Most important. And normally I do that when we are crocheting up the back, and I just forgot. You know, I was trying to get so much done. But at some point, make sure that you know that which side is the wrong side. And I've got it marked in something really bright and different, so there's no reason, because once we start sewing, it's just a pain to try to pull that stuff out. So I always leave this until I'm ready, till I put my buttons on, till I cut this little, we'll cut this, this is the last thing we'll do, and then this little yarn comes out. I take a loose that, so we hadn't got up to that yet. But I am on this seam. I'm getting ready. And I thought I'll sew a little bit. I tried 2 different seams to see which one I like. Like I said, neither one, I'm going to pull in just a little bit, was as pretty or nice as my knitted seam. So I guess that's just part of crocheting that I'm just going to have to accept and not worry about it. But you know, in our knitting, and I've done this in crocheting before, we lay our seams right side like this, and I tried that, and I wasn't sure if I liked it, so I got tired of trying to worry about it. So this, on this one, but you do whatever you know, and if you, like I said, much better crocheting than I am, you make a good seam. I'm going to turn it so my two right sides are going to be facing each other, just like you regular sew. You know how you turn it, and the 2 right sides are facing. And then I'm going to line the 2 bottom edges up, just like this. Let's see if I'm on camera. Yep, that's good. Okay, I'm going to line it up, and I have my needle and my yarn. And I was careful enough to even choose a yarn to kind of be, you know, like if this side was really dark, I'd choose something dark. This side is kind of light, so. And I'm going to line my 2 bottoms up. Like I said, I have no idea how to. And we're just going to sew this seam. And it will be good if those who are really good at this. Now, I did try to look and see how, you know how you can tell those lines on your crocheting. I did look on the inside and see if I could match some of those up just to see, like, okay, now there's a line and there's one. So I did try to line it up and hold it, and then I picked up a little bit of the yarn on that side, and this is just like a whip stitch. Now this might, you know, I tried this one and I couldn't tell. It cleaned up the seam really nice, and because it whips over the seam, that's really nice. So I don't know if that's right, or I just want to, I don't know how. And I didn't really have time. I wanted to try to get this video done. I didn't have time to go start searching out all the sites. You know, I didn't feel like going down the rabbit hole. There's like probably everybody has their own way. So, and you will too. And like I said, I am no professional at this, because they're just two different things, crocheting and knitting. And even though I can do pretty knitted seams, this seems to escape me. So I'm going to look on the inside as I'm sewing up, and I'm going to try to line up those little raised sections like that. I'm lining that up and holding it with my hand, and then picking up just a little of the yarn on the edge, if I can get under 2 strands, maybe, but not taking big stitches. I'm keeping the stitches rather shallow, rather in close, not big. And I'm going to work my way up just like this. And then we'll stop a minute. I won't try to sew all of it up. I'm just sharing with you that I'm learning too, and I can learn from you if you have. See, I'm going to try to line those two up. I'm just pulling, see? Don't that look, see, that looks pretty good. I see I lined that up. And I'm just whip stitching because I could not come up with something. Let's see, I'm up here. Okay, now I'll get to this point and then I'll stop. Alright, we'll stop it now. We're going to turn, and I'm going to turn to the right side now. Ta-da! Let's see how bad I did. Well, it's not too bad. I mean, it's a seam, but, you know, it's closed up. So, some of you can give me some good tips on how to sew crochet. Alright, so now, you'd sew all the way up, you know, to your arm space, but I want to get to the edging, because we're going to do 2 stitches for the edging. We're going to start out, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to be working in this direction. See if I'm on camera here, see if I need to move. Nope, that looks pretty good. I am going to move in just close enough for you to see the stitch that I'm going to be working on. Okay, so I've got the yarn. See what's left of this skein, and I'm not matching up anything. I'm just going to take it as it comes off. This is the edging around the front edge and eventually around each sleeve once you get the sleeve size, the opening that you need. Alright, I'm going to do the extended single crochet. The first row I'm going to work all the way around, and down the other side is the single extended crochet. American terms, I don't know what that would be in any other terms. Or if you you can just do a regular single American crochet. I usually don't like that, only because I'm older and I can't see that stitch sometimes. It's so small. But the extended one, it stands up a little bit and I can find it. So I'll show it to you. Most of you know how, but I'll do it anyway. Alright, so I want to come here, and I'm going to oh, by the way, I'm using, for all my detail work or any type of edging, I always love these boy old metal needles, and this is a size G, G or an H, and they have a pointed head, and man, they just slide right into your yarn. You know, I don't use them otherwise because they're hard on your fingers, they're hard on your joints, but for detail work, this is what I keep all these little needles. I get them any place, anywhere I see them. So I have quite a few. So I'm going to start right down here on the very edge. Make sure you're as low as you can get on the edge. And we're going to start out the first row around this, our vest. We're going to just pull our yarn, pull a loop through, just like that. And then I bring both tails through, pull it snug, and then I'm going to chain one. Just like that. Oops, got the tail, don't get the tail. Get the working yarn, there you go. I'm going to get the working yarn, I pull it through. Now, I'm going to pull, it's not chain one, it's chain two, I'm sorry, one, and then two. Now here we go. If you were doing a regular single crochet, you'd simply find a place, you'd kind of move over a little bit, you'd go under 2 strands and you'd pull a loop up and you'd pull through 2 loops. Okay, on the single extended crochet, you pull through the first loop, stop, yarn over again and pull through both loops. It's not a double, it's not a single. It's kind of in between. So I'm going to move over about, you know, you might say skip a stitch or skip a chain. So I'm going to skip one, pull up, pull a loop through. Can you see it? Pull through the first loop, stop. Now reach and yarn over and pull through both loops. And you can tighten this one up because then I skip a little bit, skip a chain or move over a little bit. Pull through the first loop, stop. Now yarn over and pull through both loops. And this little crochet hook, I mean, it just glides like butter. That's about the only thing I use them for edging and detail work. See how quick I try to go up under. Now look, don't go through large holes like that. You know, the large holes that we have along here. Try to work right on the edge. Go up under 2 strands, pull a loop, pull through one, stop, then yarn over and pull through both. Not through a large space or hole, but stay on the edge, and then you'll just start gliding with these metal hooks. And this is extended single crochet. Now, when you look at it, see, even my eyes, you know, I can see where the stitch is. If this was just a plain single crochet, you know, it's down close, and sometimes I just cannot see it. But I can see where each one of those, can you see it? Okay. So now we have to go all the way around so that we can do the crab stitch coming back, working backwards. You know, that's what, you know, you work it kind of like backwards. So, but I'm going to just keep doing a little of this so you can see how it just glides. Go through under 2 strands, pull up a loop, go through 1 loop, stop, then yarn over and go through both loops. Just, oops, I see, not in the large space. Try to go up under, go on the edge, up under 2 strands. Pull it through, and then keep gliding. Just glide. Make sure that there's no, that it's not, you know, ruffling, that you have them too close together, but yet not so far apart either. You just want it to be a nice, smooth, look at that edge already. A lot of times I will just, in some projects, you know, I just do this extended single crochet for 3 or 4 rows, and it makes a nice edging. But I just thought the crab stitch would look nice on this. But I just didn't want to have to deal with a single crochet because, like I said, it's hard for me to see it. So just slide it in under 2 strands. Try to get under 2 strands there, like that. Now pull it, yarn through the first loop, stop, then yarn through both loops. Hook in. Alright, let me work around and I will be back in just a minute. Now, I've made my way around doing the single extended crochet, and once you're going around, kind of hold it up and make sure you don't have any, puckers or something strange. I worked my way all the way around the neck. Make sure you check your neck. And then I came down the opposite front. And I've checked it and it looks nice and smooth. No gathers or anything or puckers. See? Now, like I said, a lot of times I have used this and just maybe repeated this maybe 3 times around or something like that. And it makes a nice edging also. But I thought, let's do something and let's do the crab stitch to make a more of a raised edge. Because it kind of, it stands up a little bit. You also do the extended single crochet. You come here once you get your arm space the size you need it, and then I like to always take each arm space and kind of measure it up, see if they're kind of equal. Then starting down at the seam, once you've weaved in all these strands here, we will cut this about a couple of inches out from the garment right there. You just cut it with a pair of scissors, follow the yarn back, pull it slowly for the knot, and then of course weave that in. Those are the extra chains we didn't use. Then you will start down here at the seam and work around this sleeve one time around the extended single crochet, and then just like I'm going to share with now, we're going to do the crab stitch. And since it's a stitch that I guess you call it working backwards, it's just right. Once I go one time around, now I'm on this edge and I'm going to work back around to the opposite edge. So let's see if I'm on, if I need to come up closer. I think I do now. All right, hold on. All right. Now I'm on this edge. Now I'm getting ready to go. Maybe I put the yarn on that side. All right. And all we're going to do is we're going to work going backwards. You're just going to go into the, see, this is why I like this stitch, because now I can see it with my eyes. Sometimes on the single one I just can't figure out where it is. So I'm going to reach back to the next stitch, pull up, let's see, reach back, kind of going backwards, pull a loop, and then pull through, just like it says. It's like a single crochet. I reach back, pull up that loop, and go through those 2. Just working back. Find the next stitch, reach in, pull up a loop, pull through. And eventually you will get like a rhythm. Hope this is showing up on my camera now. Go through the next stitch there, grab a loop, pull it up. Now you have 2, just go through 2. Go to the next one, pull up a loop, you have 2 on the hook, they're kind of twisted, go through both. You can see, you'll start to see it right away, that it stands up. Keep it nice and loose though, don't pull it tight. You're just working backwards into that next stitch right there. Put your hook in. Wait a minute, let me get my, okay, put your hook in the next stitch right there. Oops. Pull up a loop. Now I have 2 on the hook. Pull through 2. Keep it loose. And work backwards. And you get this twisted edging that stands up. I think it kind of adds to this. Here we go. Let's see. After a while you get a little rhythm. And like I say, this little metal hook works magic. See, it just goes through by itself, going backwards. Back to this stitch, pull a loop up, pull through 2. Let's stop and take a look. To me, it finishes off that edge. What do you think? I hope I'm getting. Let's see if my camera's, if I'm picking that up. I think I can. Okay. Let's do a little more. It's so much fun. Okay. Go to find the next stitch. Go backwards. Pull up a loop. Now you have 2. They're twisted. Pull through both. Keep it loose. In. Or pull up a loop. Go through 2. Get some yarn here. Going backwards into the next. See how I can see that? Then just a single crochet. Man, I can see this really. And I can do it fast because I can see it. Alright, check and make sure there's no puckers, how it looks. I'm going to bring it up. What do you think? And then on this side, look how pretty that is. Excuse me. Okay, let's do a little more. Let's do some more. Pull up a loop, go through 2, keep it loose. Going backwards, pull up a loop, and backwards. And backwards. Here's the first edging, the single extended crochet, which is nice, and you can do that 3 or 4 rows and just be done. But I just thought maybe having something that would stand up a little bit would just be a nice touch for our vest. Oops, I got a split in the yarn, so I need to pull back. Now go backwards, pull up a loop, pull through 2, keep it loose. In, pull up a loop, go through 2. Well, alright, so I'm going to work around and give you a second look. Now there's the front edge. Isn't that nice? Hope that's showing up. I'm going to work around, and it's just one time around. Once we get to the other end, of course, you'll pull your loop through, pull your yarn through, and weave in the ends. Of course, now you have to do the same 2 stitches for each sleeve. And then I'll be back, hopefully, when the next time you see me, I'll be wearing my vest. I'll have it all done. So let's see how quick I can get this. Go around. Oh, I had to find some buttons too. Might look for me some buttons, see what buttons I have. So, I've got a little more work to do, but look at that. Signed, sealed, delivered. Let me get through, and then I'll see if I can put my vest on. Keep going. Okay, just real quick, I thought of this. Alright, I've done one arm space. Make sure, just a good tip, you try your vest on now, you've sewn up the side seams, leave a little extra room in the sleeve space. Don't sew it up too tight or up to your underarm. Leave room, because once you put in, I've just finished the first edging, the extended single crochet, it just automatically draws in a little bit. Now I've gone around this one arm space, and I come back. I started right here in the underarm seam, working that stitch all the way around. Now I've come back to the underarm, and I'm simply going to slip stitch, just so that a beginner or someone who doesn't know, then you see that's where I started. Can you see that? Let's see if I hope I'm on camera. Okay, so you see where I started. Well, you'll slip stitch it just like you would normally in something. I slip it, put the hook through, bring a loop, then go through that loop. That's a slip stitch. Now just chain one. Now we're going to start back around, going backwards, doing the crab stitch. And you just work it around, going backwards now. And see, it automatically pulls in. Try not to pull your stitches tight. So I thought I better let you know, be sure to leave it. I may not have even left enough for me in mine. I could have maybe, but this is easy to pull out. See if I had, but if you stitched it up real tight, keep this little edging very loose as I'm working backwards with the crab stitch. But it automatically will pull in just a little bit, just some, because we're putting two different edgings on this arm space. See, now I just want to work around a little bit. I thought I better tell you that. I tried it on with the blouse. I tried it on with just my bra on. I looked at my arm spaces. I made sure that there was plenty of room. After all, it is a vest. You have to wear it on top of something. You know, you have to wear something under it. So the first thing is not to make your arm space too small. Leave a big enough arm space so that once we do both edgings around, just like this, I've done the first one, there it is. Now here comes the crab stitch working backwards. And you can see I possibly could have had more. But then hopefully it will steam maybe out some. How does that look? See it? Okay, just wanted to put that in there. I'm going to continue and see how much I get done. So maybe the next time I come on, I will be able to wear my vest. And I found some beautiful, I had some vintage buttons. I had it from a thrift store. They have half off day. You know, some days they have things marked at a certain, well, I found these buttons some time ago. And crochet, you can put a heavier button on a crochet, where on knit you really can't. So I'm just going to try my vintage buttons and see if they might be the ones. So, all right, hopefully I'll see you with my vest on. Well, here it is. Here is number 2. Here is my crochet wildflower spring vest. Number 2. And look at the colors. Now, isn't this much more pleasing to the eye than that little problem we had? Now, it's something that I'll put to memory, that once I get ready to work one side of a top or vest or sweater, and when I go across to the neck, be sure to try to keep that same line of color, you know, if it's something like this where you have a lot of color. And what a difference by me pulling that out. So, what do you think? It's really pretty. I love it. And I think this is really going to be a help to me, because in the summertime I have a lot of little shells, but I don't go sleeveless. You know, I don't like to go sleeveless. So I just wind up, you know, just having to have sleeves down here or something. But see, now I can wear, this is a sleeveless little tank, see? Now I have quite a few of these. I have something very light very, just lacy that I can wear on top of my shelves. So I think this is going to be something that I'm really going to enjoy wearing. And I hope that you will find it the same. And I put my vintage buttons on because crochet is a little heavier than my knitted top. So it can take a heavier button. These are like little metal buttons, but they're not pulling or anything. And I don't close them. They're just more for decoration for me. But there is you can put it into the little lace or the double crochet if you are a person that likes to keep yours closed. Well, this brings me to the end of another stash busting project to share with my friends. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a try. I'm telling you, I'm just so thrilled and surprised. Look, I feel like flying. Oh, it's light, it's pretty. I can wear my sleeveless little tops now and still, look, I left nice room. I love the crab stitch around. It gives it weight. The crab stitch really sets it off once you do it. When you see it on yours, it gives it a weight and it gives it a finish. It gives it a finished edge that is just really much nicer than just if we left it just double crochet. So, oh man, I tell you, it didn't take long. I found the skeins in my stash. I noticed though that this, even though they're the same brand, I got these from Hobby Lobby, but apparently this might have been a different vendor or something, because this one has, it's thicker. It doesn't, it's not as drapey as the other one. And let me just reach over here. It's not as drapey as this one. So they could have come from different vendors, different parts of the world, who knows what the yarn. But now, here's the first one that I was wearing. And same size hook and everything. But it has a little more drape to it than maybe the one I have on. But look, now, Wildflowers. Is that pretty? Here's one wildflower vest, and then here's another one. Alright, so on to the next. Let's see what else I can find in my stash to share with my friends. So, happy crocheting! This is Jay, and I'll see ya!